toy shop. This is going to be nuts. Let me know if you guys are here in chat. Let me know that you're watching. If you are watching the replay, big shout out to you guys. Yeah, credit where credit is due. You guys watching this replay are putting in the work and watching the videos and investing back into yourself, and that is awesome. Yeah, I think, oh man, I'm gonna be so giddy if this is actually working the way that I think it is working. So yeah, if you are here watching this, let me know in the comments section. Say hi, let me know like where you're from, if you can hear me okay, if you can see me okay, all that stuff, all the normal stuff. I'm using a brand new, yes! I'm using a brand new system. I am super pumped about this. Oh, that's so cool. So yeah, so just to fill you guys in, just like how I always recommend you guys should be reinvesting back into your Amazon business. I've spent a lot of time and money reinvesting back into our content business. And oh, that's so cool. One of the things that I got was this. It's called Restream, but basically it allows me to stream to every platform that we're on simultaneously. I can see all of the comments in one window. I can highlight it, so watch this. Hey Monica, how's it going? All right, super cool. That's crazy. I can just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Now can I take that off? Not sure if I can take that off. I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, that's so cool. But here's what I can do. Boom, there, put that up. This is so great, and the camera looks good, and the audio, oh my gosh, guys. I am seriously like a little kid in a toy shop. Like all these new fun toys that we're playing with. Awesome, this is so cool. All right, yeah, hey Gina, hey Andrew. Deidre, I see Facebook user. I'm not sure why it's not saying your name, but from Destin, Florida. That's not too far away from us. Central Florida, that's right where we are. Madeira Beach. There's a ton of Floridians in here. What's up, guys? We just dodged a hurricane. Whoop, whoop. I can see and hear you from Lynchburg, Virginia. Tuning in from upstate New York. Hey, what's up? That's where most of my extended family is, in upstate New York. Hey, from Pittsburgh. We have a lot of friends. We taught a couple people over in Pittsburgh, and for a while, we actually had remote shoppers and preppers in the Pittsburgh area. Awesome. Hey, from New York, just got the Q4 webinar. I'm addicted now. That's awesome. All right, so yeah, so if you guys are new to our Sunday Night Live Hangouts, basically I will pop on here. I try to do it every Sunday night. And I'll try and jump on here and answer questions. I'll talk about a few things that have sort of been either happening in the Amazon sphere or happening sort of with our business, or just general things. Basically, I'll bring a couple topics to the table, talk about those, and then we just open it up to a bunch of questions. I made a post earlier today asking for some like preliminary questions, and we got a bunch of those. So I'll go through, I can't go through all of them. There was like 20 or 30 or something on there. But I'll go through most of them. If you guys are here and you do have questions, feel free to type those in the comment section of whatever platform you're on, because I'm looking at Facebook and YouTube, and I think even Instagram all simultaneously on here, which is super, super cool. From Nashville, more like Lebanon. So I know, is there a Lebanon near Nashville? My wife is Lebanese, so when I hear Lebanon, I think, oh, they're from Lebanon. But Nashville is quite a bit different than being from Lebanon. All right, so yeah. So my Post-it note with my little topics for tonight. So the first thing I want to mention is a huge shout out to everyone who jumped in our Q4 webinar. That was the biggest launch we have ever done by a mile. I mean, we've done other like really in-depth classes and things like that with like our Kohl's, our big Kohl's webinar, our big grocery class, even like our beginners kickstart thing. But that Q4 one, it just blew everything else out of the park. I think last time I checked, we had almost 500 people jump into that Q4 webinar. And like the more time goes on, the more I'm just stuffing that full of more content. So, I mean, this year, I broke it down into individual sections so that it's very easy to search. And as more time goes on, I keep being like, oh, shoot, I should have added this part. Or, oh, I need to show Canadians how to get ungated. Or, oh, I need to show these people, here's how you get ungated in Lego. So like, I just keep coming up with these like, oh, I should have added this. I should have added that. And because of the way I formatted it this year, instead of it being just one long like webinar video, it's like 20 or 30 little smaller videos and different blurbs and notes and things like that that I've all put together. And so because of that, it's super easy for me to go in there and just add something like, oh, here's a section on Canadian sellers. Here's how to get ungated. Or, oh, here's this section on this like huge toy thing that's coming up in a couple weeks that you all should be a part of. So if you've already gotten the Q4 webinar, keep checking back into it because I will keep updating it. There's going to be a ton of like online arbitrage updates that I throw in there. And that'll be sort of in that arbitrage section. I'll put probably more stuff in the bonus area. And as I think of it, I mean, I'll just throw stuff in wherever it makes sense. But those will be the main sections that you'll see new stuff pop up, is in the like advanced retail and online arbitrage section of the course, as well as the bonus section. For the folks who didn't get it, I know there's a lot of people like, oh, I just missed it. You didn't really miss it. Like it's still there. It's still going on. You can still get it. The early bird sale has ended, but I mean, realistically, the early bird sale, it was like 20, 25 bucks off. That's not a huge deal. If buying or not buying a piece of like content or something like that hinged upon $20 to $25, I'm going to say don't buy it no matter what, because like if that made the difference for you, then you're not in a place to be buying content. You're in a place where 100% of your funds need to be going into inventory. I don't want to take any money from your inventory. If you're like struggling, you're like bare bonesing your business, put 100% of your money into your inventory. Don't give any of it to me. If you've grown your business and you're like, oh man, yeah, this is great, I'll reinvest. Or if you're starting with a larger like initial capital and you really want to hit the ground running, okay, awesome. But for the people who are like, $20 I can't afford it now. Well, then you couldn't afford it before either. Sorry. All right. So yeah, the Q4 webinar is still going on. If you guys want to check that out, it's over on our website. Let me see if I can share my screen with this too. Let's see, share entire screen. No way. Let's see if this works. Hang on a second, guys. What? Sorry, I am using a new thing. Oh, look at that! And take. Let's see. Take this back off. Super cool. All right. So yeah, that was the first thing. Second thing I want to talk about is we had a question. So I posted this morning in our Facebook group. If you're not a part of that, facebook.com/group/hustlebuddies. It's a great place to learn how to sell on Amazon. And I posted a question, and I basically just said, hey, I'm doing a Sunday Night Live. Let me know what your issues are or what you're dealing with right now, and I'll try and touch on those things. One person was actually a couple people were asking about taxes. And I started diving into this, and this is one of those like guilty pleasures where I nerd out. Like I go bananas over really interesting ways to pay nothing or just pay less in taxes. And really, I want to touch on this now, and I'm actually going to be, I dove so far into this that I'm like, okay, well, I might as well just make a whole video about this. So on Wednesday, usually we release videos on our YouTube channel. Every Wednesday, you can see down at the bottom, follow us, youtube.com/c/HustleBuddiesOfficial. Hustle Buddies was taken, jerk. But I'll be putting something out on Wednesday that goes deeper into this. But I wanted to sort of touch on some tax ideas and concepts. Now, a couple preliminary little like asterisks, okay? First, I am not an accountant. I can't give you accounting advice that is specific to you. What I can do is give you general ideas, and you should take those ideas, research those ideas, and then take those to your accountant. You should not be trying to do your accounting by yourself. That's something we are like very, like, that is always the wrong answer in 100% of the situations if you are a business owner. That is never the correct answer. Doing your own taxes is not the right answer for any business owner. If you own a business, you need to be hiring someone to do your taxes because your taxes are your largest expense in life. Like your taxes cost more than your house and your car and your food, probably all combined under normal circumstances. But if you can figure out a way how to get rid of most or even all of that, well, like now you just made an entire house payment and a car payment and your food for the year. All right. So taxes take a lot of money from people, but there's so many legal loopholes to get out of it. So I was actually looking up some quotes, some statistics, things like that. Warren Buffett, actually, he was sort of famous for saying the phrase that his office assistant probably, I mean, he didn't know this for sure, but he said, my office assistant probably pays more in taxes and is in a higher tax bracket than I am. And that's kind of insane because Warren Buffett is like, up until, I mean, recently, he was one of the richest, if not the richest. I don't really know where he lies in that hierarchy of richness. I know Bezos is number one now, but Warren Buffett is definitely up there. And just the fact that he was in a lower tax bracket than his office assistant should tell you that like wealthy people understand how to not pay taxes. And tax brackets aren't really created for the wealthy. I know a lot of people are like, oh, we shouldn't tax the rich because then they won't do this. Or other people are, oh, we should tax the rich more. The problem is, with our current system, tax brackets tax your earned income. There's a very clear distinction here on earned income because earned income can mean a lot of things. Earned income assumes you have a W-2 most of the time. Earned income assumes you have a job. If you don't have a job, there are ways to make it official that you don't really earn hardly any income, okay? So I want to give you guys a couple really broad general ideas. You can dive down these rabbit holes yourself. And I'll be doing a more in-depth video on Wednesday on our YouTube channel about this. But just to give you some ideas to sort of, wet your whistle, get your interest piqued. All right, so couple things. First, different business types are going to be taxed differently. So there are some advantages that a sole proprietor has that an S Corp does not have. There's some advantages that an LLC has that a sole proprietor doesn't. There's many advantages that an S Corp has that an LLC or a sole proprietor do not have. So you will need to sort of figure out what you can do and what is best for your situation. And the best way to do that is to talk to an accountant, specifically for your situation, because I don't know your situation. Odds are you probably hardly even know your own situation. That's why you need to get an accountant. Audio cut out when I was sharing my screen. Oh, bummer. That stinks. I'll have to figure that out later. All right, so yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Taxable income. The goal as a business owner is to make it look like your income or your earned income is basically nothing or as low as possible. So a couple broad ideas. There are standard deductions. So like as an individual, whether you own a business or whether you're doing whatever, as a single person, your standard deduction is $12,800. As a married couple, it's $24,800. So basically, if you can figure out how to live on if you're a married couple, if you can figure out how to live on $24,800 every year, you won't pay anything in taxes. That's the standard deduction that came out recently. That was actually, for better or for worse, that was one of the things that Trump did. Like some of these standardized deductions getting larger, some of these other loopholes. It is affecting us, regardless of what you think, or if you agree with it or not. That's how the world is. And one of the big things with taxes is, like, I can't change how taxes work. I think the way that taxes work is ridiculous. I think they're stupid. I think how the loopholes, like the existence of these loopholes, bothers me. But if I'm going to play the game, I need to understand the rules. I can't just complain about the rules. I need to understand them, and then I can work around them using the rules to beat the game. Okay, and that's sort of what taxes is to me. So standardized deductions, make sure you're doing that. Lower your taxable income, so figure out ways how to make it your business has less taxable income. An interesting rabbit trail is a concept called the owner draw. I'll briefly talk about this here. So let's say you're a sole proprietor. That means you are the business. There's not really any distinction between Nate Jackson and his business, okay? So all of my money is the business's money. All the business's money is my money. It's all muddled together, okay? When you become an LLC, there is now a distinction. This is Nate, and this is the LLC. When that happens, in the IRS's eyes, how did that LLC get all of its money? Like, so let's assume that you have an Amazon business right now and you're a sole proprietor, and then you change to an LLC. Where did your LLC just get all of its inventory from? It doesn't, like, what should I say? Hustle Buddies LLC, we'll just call it that. Hustle Buddies LLC didn't just poof. It wasn't born with, let's say you have $20,000 worth of inventory sitting in Amazon FBA. It didn't just like poof, oh, this business just appeared with $20,000. No, officially, you, or me, Nate, gave Hustle Buddies LLC $20,000 worth of inventory. That was an investment to start. So let me put this, I wonder if I can even write stuff in chat. That would be crazy if I can. I'm going to try and copy, paste, let's see, type a message. Can I do it here? Let's see if that works. All right, so I just put a link into the chat. So this is some interesting ways that you can put money into your business. So with inventory, for example, putting that $20,000 into inventory, that means that I can do what's called owner draw at a later point and get that money back out completely tax-free. So if you have $20,000 of inventory this year, and then next year, let's say your company makes $20,000 of net profit. Now, again, I might be getting a few of these small specifics wrong. So if there's accountants that are listening, they're like, oh my gosh, this isn't how it works at all. Feel free, correct me down in the comment section. This is just like a general understanding as I started to dive down some of these rabbit holes. But basically, you can do owner draw. So let's say next year you make $20,000 of profit. You can just take that as the owner. And it's like, okay, this was my investment into the company. I gave the company $20,000 last year. The company is giving me back my $20,000 this year. That's not taxed because you were already technically taxed on it at the front side, because the government is sort of assuming when you put the money into the business, this money was already earned, it was already taxed. And so you can pull it right back out, and it doesn't get taxed when you're pulling it back out. So that's kind of a crazy way that you can pay yourself a lot of money. And then, so think of it this way. Let's say the company makes $20,000. Under normal circumstances, you would have to be paying that tax on $20,000. But if you withdraw it and give it to yourself as an owner draw, the company now has zero earned income, and you officially have zero earned income. So that's what I'm talking about. There's like, tax only applies to earned income. So figure out ways how to not earn the income and to work within the tax law. Nothing what I'm saying is illegal. Work within the rules. Use the rules to your advantage and pay less in taxes. All right. So that was owner draw was a cool concept that we're going to dive more into. Tax deferred accounts. So like if there is a surplus, if you've paid yourself, if you've done owner draw, if you've done whatever else, dividends, what have you, you can put money into like an IRA account or a 401k or a health savings account, an HSA. And those all defer tax again until later on. And so those are more ways where you can get more money out, not really pay any like earned tax on it. Eventually you will probably pay tax unless you do some other loopholes that you can do, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, so use tax deferred accounts, salary and dividend distribution. So this is specific to folks who have an S Corp. This is one reason why we love S Corps as far as like accounting goes. So like we can pay ourselves a salary and I can pay myself. So let's just pretend I'm throwing, these are not my real numbers. Let's pretend that my Amazon business makes $100,000. I can pay myself a reasonable salary for my job. So I can pay myself, I don't know, $40,000, okay? That's not unreasonable. I mean, that's cheap, but that's reasonable. I'm not paying myself like minimum wage. $40,000 as like a regional manager of something, that makes sense. That's plausible. So pay myself $40,000. I'll pay my wife $40,000. So there's $80,000 of the $100,000. Then we still have $20,000 left that the company made. Well, the company can pay its employees equal shares of dividends. My wife and I are the only two employees in this situation. And so I can pay her $10,000 and I can pay myself $10,000 of dividends. And that's not our salary. And there's not really the same taxes involved here. I believe, I mean, maybe there's an accountant here that can correct me, but I believe that that is actually even completely tax-free. If it's not tax-free, it's tax-reduced at least. But yeah, so all of these different ideas I'm trying to just give you guys some nuggets that you can start like diving in and doing your own research. I don't want to bog you down with a bunch of tax stuff because I know not everyone is like a tax junkie nerd like I can be. But there's some really interesting stuff out there. So I posted one link for how to put money into your business. Here is another link. I don't know if this chat link thing works, but if it does, there's another link to some deductions that your business may be able to utilize. And again, some of these you can use if you're sole proprietor. Some of them you can use if you're S Corp. Some of them you can use if you're both. You'll have to sort of figure it out from there. All right? Okay. Those were my big two things. I know the audio cut out when I started sharing my screen. But basically, oh, let me turn this. It looks like it's still trying to share. There we go. So yeah, basically when my audio cut out, I was talking about our Q4 webinar, showing you guys some stuff about that. It is still available. There's great stuff in there. I'm adding to it constantly. There's like a section for Canadian sellers now. There's a section for getting ungated in Lego and Star Wars and all of that. So even if you're a brand new seller, like I break things down for you guys. All right. Okay. That is all my stuff. Let me know in the comment section what questions you have, and I will try to get to as many as I can within the next about 30, 40 minutes. I try to keep these to about an hour long. I don't want to go too crazy. Looks like my video and audio are still working, but if anything cuts out, let me know in chat if I need to fix something, and I'll jump on it. All right? Okay, let's see. Man, there's people from all over the place. Brooklyn, Delaware, Las Vegas. I know there are so many sellers in Las Vegas. It's nuts. Let's see. From Idaho, that's an uncommon one. I think I can pull up a map actually of our members to sort of like put like points on the map. That whole like middle western belt, like Idaho and Montana. Well, there's some in Montana, but especially in like the Utah and all of that area over there, there's like no sellers that exist over there. So if you are there, oh man, your stores are probably loaded with stuff because you hardly have any competition in that area. Let's see. Grant Williams got the Kohl's webinar last week, went to Kohl's today and crushed the bra section. Felt a little weird, not gonna lie. Yep. But then you think like, man, I just made like $1,000 in an hour or two. So yeah, that Kohl's webinar, that's been like one of our staples for a long time, breaking down everything. So I'm glad that you jumped in that. And not only that you like learned from it, but then you took action, because learning without action is useless. So that's awesome, man. Let's see. Daniel Jones, can you make money with this every day, even on Sundays? Oh, Daniel, even on Sundays. Daniel is a lifelong friend. Went to college together. We were roommates for a while, too. Let's see. Have a question about shipping food in glass containers. Found a couple replens, but they are both in glass bottles. Is it impossible to ship? No, it's very possible to ship. You just have to look up. I don't know them off the top of my head. I don't have glass replens, so I don't know that information offhand, but I do know that the information is readily available inside of Amazon. I don't know if you'll have to search like glass bottle or just prepping items, but it is located somewhere inside of Amazon. Maybe if someone else knows and they can link it, you can link it there. Worst case scenario, you can always FBM it and just bubble wrap the heck out of it. And there's not really regulations, like there's not rules involved with FBM fulfillment. Obviously, it has to get to the customer, but FBA has certain rules that they have to abide by. FBM, it's a little more like the Wild West as far as how your item should be prepped. And so you can sort of prep it using common sense, and that's also a good method to go. Let's see. Someone says, I love all your videos. Each one has a focus. Oh, look at that. I can show it on screen. Love all your videos. Each one has a focus and even helps with things people may not think to ask. Awesome. Yep, that's the goal. Yeah, I don't know why. I'll have to figure out why it just calls you Facebook user. I don't know what your name is, but from Egypt. Oh, yeah, I think I was talking to you the other day. I was talking to someone from Egypt. Uh-oh. What happened to my video? Check, check, check. My video's gone. Hang on a second, guys. Okay, we're back. I had something with my camera. I think after 30 minutes, it goes idle. All right, let's jump back to the chat. Let's see. Yeah, sorry guys, I lost sound there for a while. I see all that in chat. Wes, I was using OBS. I'm using something new now because I can stream on every platform simultaneously. I am like geeking out over here about this new technology that I've got because I'm on Facebook and YouTube and I see all the comments in one space all together. It's crazy. Let's see. Get the right accountant. The wrong one can be costly. Absolutely. Yep. All right. So I see Disney Family. Talk about timing. I just opened my seller account 2 days ago. Desperately need understanding how I can list my collection of vintage print ads. On Amazon, that's not the right platform for vintage print ads. People don't go to Amazon to buy that kind of thing. They go to eBay to buy that kind of thing. So for all of that, you got to go to eBay. Don't waste your time trying to figure that out or understand that. It's not worth your time to try to understand that for Amazon because that's not what people buy on Amazon. It's like you don't go to Walmart to buy like collectible baseball cards, okay? You go to Walmart to buy what you need. Same concept with Amazon. Think of Amazon like a Walmart. Like you go there to buy what you need, not those like collectors, hard to find items. Awesome. It looks like the links work. That's so cool. Okay. So someone asks, USPS packages lost in transition. Yeah, I saw Ivan ask this earlier on the other post, and I did want to mention this. So as we go into Q4, a lot of us are going to be doing much more FBM or fulfilled by merchant. I know most of our content's like, oh, Amazon FBA sellers, but there is a large movement of now Amazon FBM sellers. Which is kind of its own little beast. We love it. I think it's great, and I think you all should do it. But there are some nuances. So, for example, USPS has been delivering stuff late. They lose packages. Customers will just claim that the package was lost in order to get free stuff. All of those things happen, and they're not uncommon at all. And you will get, as soon as you start doing FBM orders, I mean, I would say for every like 100 orders that we fulfill, I probably get 2 to 3 people who reach out to me and ask, hey, where's my shipment? It says it's delivered, but I don't have it, or something along those lines. What I recommend is have a template. You can set up a response template inside of Amazon. Have a template set up. You first want to sort of stall that conversation out. You want the person to look for the package. So ask them to like check with their neighbors, check with other people in the household, check in their mailbox. You want to sort of remind them. I didn't think, like prior to being an Amazon seller, I wouldn't have thought like, oh, you know, I should remind a person who's expecting a package to check their mailbox. But you do. And you would be shocked how many people respond back, oh, thank you, I found it in my mailbox. Like, what? You took all that time to complain and ask me for a refund, and you didn't check your mailbox for the package that you just ordered to be delivered to your mailbox. It's crazy, guys, but it happens. And so you want to sort of stall it out. Give them some other options like, hey, check here, check here, check here, check here, check here. You can recommend them like call your local post office. Sometimes they mark it a day early, or ask them like just wait another day or two. The post office has been really far behind, and frequently they're just marking things as delivered a day early, and you'll get it the next day or the day after that. Unfortunately, this is out of our hands because of Corona and blah, 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 blah. And sort of, you're not like saying it's not my fault, but you're doing that indirectly. You don't just want to say, hey, it's not my fault, man. Take it up with the next guy. Like, you don't want to come at them like that, but you do want to change their mindset into thinking this is Nate's fault, into thinking, oh, this is USPS's fault, or oh, this is Amazon's fault. Okay, so that's sort of the first hurdle. If you can't get past that hurdle and someone's like, well, I'm like, I want a refund, I didn't get this, is ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. At that point, personally, what we do for our business, and there's 2 trains of thought here. Personally, what I do for our business is I instruct them to open an A to Z claim. Now, Amazon is very specific in their rules, in their A to Z claim, that this protects both the customer and the third-party seller against any mishaps that happen because of shipping, as long as you have fulfilled your side of things correctly, okay? So if I shipped it on time, if I used Amazon's platform to purchase my shipping, if I used like USPS or FedEx or one of the other places where it's like the tracking info is all there, it's all connected, it's all within Amazon, I should be covered. So when I'm telling people to file an A to Z claim, it's very important that they file did not arrive. If they file an A to Z claim as like item not as expected or item not as advertised or whatever like the other options are, that gets significantly harder. So the risk you run is in a customer being like not that intelligent and selecting the wrong option as far as why they're opening an A to Z claim. Now, even with that said, even those like faulty A to Z claims are winnable because you just open a case with Amazon. You can argue, you can sort of fight A to Z claims. It gives you, as a seller, it gives you 30 days to sort of rebuttal it and to show your proof. And so basically you would just show Amazon their own like rules, like, hey, you say right here in your rules, if I ship it, if I fulfill it, then you will cover this. And you can see here is my conversation with the customer. They're telling me they did not receive it. Therefore, this is covered by your claim. So you can fight it. That's what I personally do. There are some other people that say it's not worth my time to fight that, or it's not worth the chance that a customer could accidentally select the wrong thing and then I can't fight it or something like that. And so they just automatically refund and move on. I don't think that there's necessarily a wrong way. I think that there is logic and merit in both trains of thought. What I do is I tell them to open an A to Z claim after we've already done all the preliminary stuff where I try to like drag it out. I say, wait a day, wait 2 days, call the post office, check with neighbors, check with your brother, check with your spouse, kids, whoever else is in the house. All of that stuff. So that's what I personally do. Some other people will just refund and move on. It's sort of up to you which direction you want to go, but hopefully that answers that question. I know that was a bigger one. In our experience, how good does grocery do in Q4? How good does everything do in Q4? Everything does crazy. There is nothing that's like, it's not that great in Q4. Nothing is like that. And it's because of the amount of eyeballs that are on Amazon. There's like, I mean, I don't have the statistic with me to back this up, but I would be surprised if it's less than 10 times as much traffic during Q4 as the rest of the year. if there's 10 times as much traffic, then people are obviously going to buy things that they left in their cart, or they're going to see that advertisement like, oh, you just looked at all of these Nike socks. Here's another Nike sock we think you might be interested in. So they're going to see advertisements like that all the time, and they're going to be on Amazon buying other things. They're in the buying mood. They buy like crazy. So does grocery do good in Q4? Absolutely. It does amazing. So does everything else. There's nothing that does bad. Toys, like, ridiculously good, but everything does amazing. Let's see. All right, Wes, any tips on identifying good toys to stock up on for Q4? Is it safe to gamble that pretty much everything is going to inflate? Amazon will run out of stock on most toys, so we can just price high and wait. Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. So I think especially this year, Amazon is going to run out of almost everything, just based on the climate, based on how many people are going to be shopping online this year. There's not enough space in Amazon to hold all the toys that people are going to be buying during Christmas time. So personally, I think it's decently safe to think that most things are going to sell out of Amazon. Now, as far as like trying to gamble on this year's like really hot toy that you're like, oh, I know this is going to sell out, so I'm going to buy a ton of it. I'll do a little bit of that for fun, but I wouldn't recommend basing your business off of it. Like just what I was telling to that other person. Does grocery do well? Yeah, it does. So I could gamble on this toy that if I do really well, it'll get me 200% ROI and I'll sell out a bunch of it. That's great. But I could also sell the everyday, like I could sell the, I don't know, 2-pack of hot sauce that's been selling all year round for 100% ROI and just do that 4 times as much during Q4. So everything will sell. I don't base our business off of those gambles or those sort of like, oh, what's going to be this year's hot toy? Now, it is fun. I'll do that some, but it's more for like enjoyment. It's more like I'll take videos of it. Like, oh, look what I found. The Monopoly for millennials. That was like 2 years ago. It was the big thing. There's tons of YouTube videos about people flipping Monopoly for millennials, and that's great. As far as like building your business, those people didn't build their businesses off of Monopoly for millennials. They built their businesses off of boring items like toothpicks, okay? Monopoly for millennials is fun, and it makes for great content, but it doesn't make for a good foundation for your business. So yeah, do it, but don't like spend all of your money on it. How do you get the Keep extension in Seller Central? You do not. Those are not compatible apps. So if you're on a computer, so you're saying Seller Central, which tells me you're on a computer. If you're on a computer, you just open Keepa. You can download it as a Chrome extension, or you can just go to the site and look at it that way. If you're on your phone, then you want to use Scoutify 2 to scan things, and you can integrate Scoutify 2 with Keepa very easily. We did a video on YouTube. It's like 1 minute and 27 seconds long or something like that. It's very easy. It's very fast. So check out our YouTube, and we'll show you how to integrate that with Scoutify 2, but you can't do it with Seller Central. All right. Let me see. Yeah, I've got about 20 more minutes, guys. So if you've got other questions, let me know in the chat. Central Wisconsin, moving back to Orlando. See you at Kohl's. All right, we'll see you there. Yeah, if you go out on Black Friday, you will probably run into me at Kohl's. I know last Black Friday, I don't know, I might need to wear like a mask or something, because last Black Friday, I ran into like, I want to say 7 different people from Hustle Buddies. And I'm a chatter. Like when I'm talking to people, I'll just start chatting and go, oh, you should check this out. Oh, you should look at this. Oh, have you done this on your account? Oh, have you done that? And I realized like, oh, I've been talking for like 2 hours and I didn't buy anything. This is Black Friday. What am I doing? Yeah, I might have to like wear a mask or something just so I can get my own Black Friday shopping done. Yeah, finally got a Kohl's receipt, almost as tall as I am. That's great. That's awesome. I think our record, Kohl's is great. Our record, there's a different store where they like break down every individual like bonus and discount and all of that for every item. So instead of taking like the whole receipt and doing 20% off, they'll do like every single item and then 20% and then the total for that item again. So it's like every item is like triple or quadruple printed because of it. And we ended up getting a receipt. It was 130 feet long. That so far is our record. Let's see. All right, someone asking about insurance. What about waiting to get insurance to see how you do at first? So Amazon has some rules about when to get insurance. Just read those rules, and I would recommend abiding by those rules. You can do whatever you want. You can go and shoot somebody and maybe get away with it. You can have an Amazon account without insurance and maybe get away from it, or get away with it. That is your prerogative, but Amazon definitely has very specific rules about this, and you should just look up those rules and then figure out what you want to do from there. Yeah, we were playing hide and seek back there for a little bit. My video went out. Some of the, yeah, unfortunately, like, there's so many questions here. I'm skipping over some of them. It's not that they're bad questions. They're just much longer questions. All right, let's see. In the Q4 webinar, you mentioned you need a certain amount of FBM orders to be able to do it in Q4. Yeah, 25 is the magic number. Between August 15th and October 15th, you must fulfill 25 orders. The cutoff date is October 15th, I believe. It should be in an email, but yeah, August 15th, October 15th. Monica, where do you find a good accountant? We found one local to us. So basically, like an accountant doesn't have to be specifically for e-commerce sellers. That's something that sort of caught us up at the very beginning. What we do is an inventory-based business. There's not really fundamental differences between what I'm doing and what the small grocery store down the street is doing, or like the Latin food store up the road is doing. We're all inventory-based businesses. Ours just happens to be online, but fundamentally there's not many differences. So find an accountant who has experience with that. Find an accountant who is good with technology. A lot of accountants, I would say interview a couple different people, but a couple of them, like, I could only call them on the phone. I couldn't like send them an email. They had no like online chat. I couldn't like, I mean, we don't really text them, but we wanted those abilities. We wanted those modern technologies, just because we work in e-commerce, we're always online. I need someone familiar with technology. If they're not familiar with using things other than a phone, then they're probably not familiar with technology in general. So that was one of my criterias. I found someone local to me that I really liked. You guys can look online. We actually did an interview a while back with a guy. It's called Not Your Dad's CPA. He works a lot with e-commerce sellers. So if you don't want someone local to you, you can check him out. Let him know we sent you over there. All right. Just got ungated in grocery. Awesome. Waiting on toys. Is grocery as strong of a category as toys? Nothing is as strong as toys. But the thing is, like, $10 is $10 is $10. 100% ROI is 100% ROI is 100% ROI. It doesn't matter if it's this year's hot toy or if it's this year's hot grocery. So it's like, oh, should I sell in toys because it's better than grocery? There is no better category on Amazon. There's what you're selling. If what you're selling is making profit, then what you're selling is good. You don't need to look for, like, you don't need to have the shiny objects and they're like, oh, those toys look so much better than what I'm selling. If you're selling canned corn and you're making 100% ROI and you're making $10 per thing that you're selling, just keep doing what you're doing. Sure, add in toys as well, but you don't need to like switch like, oh, I shouldn't sell canned corn anymore. This isn't as good. No, keep selling. Your corn is obviously profitable. And then also buy a Barbie on top of it. Like, just keep expanding, but you don't have to limit yourself. All right, a couple questions here I'm not quite understanding. How is your Walmart business going? So we made a video for how to start a business on Walmart. I've literally not touched it since then because for the past basically 3 weeks, I've been spending all day, every day putting together our Q4 course. So I haven't had time to go back into Walmart to really like do a bunch of stuff on that. So right now it's on standstill. With Q4 coming up and now that our class like is basically up and running. And again, if you guys are just joining us, it's still up and running. You can still sign up for it. HustleBuddiesOfficial.com. But yeah, I will be doing more Walmart content in the coming weeks as I learn more. We actually made a separate Walmart group if you guys are interested. Facebook, let me see if I can get a link to that real fast. I think it's facebook.com/groups/HustleBuddiesWalmart, I think is the name of the group. If someone has a link to it in chat, maybe they can link it. But we just made it. If you do a search within regular Hustle Buddies, you should see my post about it. But we just made sort of like a side group so that I'm not clogging like our Amazon group with a bunch of Walmart content. Dennis, so he's waited 7 weeks for a few different brands. Just keep waiting, delete and resubmit. Is there there's not really a best option. I don't think anyone really knows. Sometimes Amazon just takes forever to approve stuff. So there's not usually like a downside in deleting and resubmitting. So if it's been, I mean, you're going on like 2 months now. If it's been 2 months, yeah, you could probably like close out that application and try to open a new one. That doesn't guarantee anything. It might take 7 more weeks. Like it might be, oh, in just a couple days it'll get to you, and then you have to wait 7 more weeks. Yeah, there's not really a good rhyme or reason to it, unfortunately. So I don't have a good answer for you, Dennis. All right, so this person got an intellectual property complaint. They appealed it 3 times themselves and failed 3 times. At what point should they hire a professional? That really depends on where your business is at. Normally, if you have a thriving, successful business, you should hire a professional before you try your own luck at all. So if my business were to get like an IP claim, a large one, I would just instantly, oh yeah, that's worth a couple $100 to me. Hire that out. Boom, it's done, taken care of. I'm good to go. Normally, I recommend hiring that out. Now, if you're a small-time seller, that it takes too much of your budget to do that effectively. I don't think that's always the correct answer, because if you're just starting, you've only sold like $100 of stuff, why are you going to pay someone a couple $100 to fix an account that you've only sold $100 on? So, yeah, I will say you can continue doing that. So, for example, Nicole, one of our mods, when she first started on Amazon, she got 3, I don't remember if they were IP claims or inauthentic claims, but she got 3, like boom, 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 within like an hour, got knocked off of Amazon, spent like 2 months. She sent something like 30-something appeals, and eventually she got back, but she just kept appealing and appealing and appealing. So, yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle. The more you do it, the harder it gets, which is why usually people say hire a professional from the beginning, because if they're trying to fix your mistakes, the professionals have a much harder time doing it. It's much easier to hire someone straight from the get-go because it's almost guaranteed that they'll take care of it. But yeah. Oh, excellent question. How do you decide whether you'll FBA or FBM a product? I saw a Jessica ask this. I don't know if that's her again, because it just says Facebook user here on my screen. But yeah, so that's a good question. Normally, I will do both. You don't have to choose one or the other. I will often do both. Now, there are some times where it is better to choose one over the other. Sometimes that depends on your situation. So, for example, right now, we have packers and preppers who come to our house. Currently, those 2 packers and preppers are quarantining themselves because of Corona, which is fine. They're doing fine. Everyone's keeping safe. But because of that, I can't really send out FBA shipments. I can't do my normal process. So for right now, it's like, okay, well, I'll just switch to FBM. I'll be doing this stuff myself. Not a big deal. Life goes on. So some of it has to do with you. Maybe you don't have space to store stuff. If that's the case, well, FBA. Now, assuming you have space, assuming you're able to do both, assuming all those things are in place, you can look at an item and you can compare FBA versus FBM right when you scan it to see the different profits. I'll give you 3 real life examples of why I would do one versus the other. So example number 1, clothing. Clothing is so hard to store efficiently because you've got, like, let's say it's pants. You've got your your size 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. And then you've got your like dark blue, light blue, wash blue, stone, gray stone, black, white. Like there's so many different variations. You can't just like pile them up and have easy access. Because if you get 100 orders in one day, I'm telling you guys, it takes you so much time if you have to like look for the product. FBM, where FBM shines, is if you have like 1 to maybe 10 different products and you just have a freaking ton of them and you can just quickly boom, 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 boom. Okay, there's 20 in 20 boxes. Boom, 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 boom. There's 20 labels on the 20 boxes. Now we're done. Okay, that's where FBA really shines. Having to like search for the individual items is absolutely going to obliterate your productivity. If you're doing it with clothing, it just doesn't work. So don't do it with clothing. Example number 2. Let's say you have a bottle of hot sauce, and this bottle of hot sauce weighs 16 ounces, which is 1 pound. That is no longer first class, which means you're probably going to be shipping it in probably like a regional rate A box or maybe like a small priority box. That's probably going to cost you about $8 to ship that. Now, if the price of this hot sauce is $12 on Amazon and your buy cost is $3, okay, we've got $12 minus shipping, which is averaging you about $8. So now we're at $4. Your buy cost is $3. You're left with $1 of profit. That is not worth your time storing it, finding it, packaging it, bubble wrapping it, putting it in, taping it, shipping it, putting a label, all of that. It is not worth your time to make $1 with that one bottle. So for that one bottle, FBA all the way. Because if it's selling for $12 FBA, you can think Amazon's going to take roughly a third of that. So that's going to be $4. That leaves you with $8 of profit. Shipping is basically null and void because you're going to be shipping a ton of these in. So your buy cost is $3. You make a lot more money in that circumstance doing it that way. All right. Example number 3, a 3-pack of hot sauce. Okay, this 3-pack of hot sauce still fits in that same priorities or regional rate A box. Still costs me about $8 to send it. This is selling, however, for let's say $40. Okay, which does happen. These are like normal examples. I'm not giving you something astronomical. So this, let's call it a 4-pack selling for $40 on Amazon. Okay, if you do FBA, Amazon's going to take about 30%. So 30% of 40, 4, 8, $12. Okay, so they're taking about $12 cut, and then you're sending it to them. You're polybagging it, you're labeling it, all of that stuff. FBM, you're still only paying about $8 of shipping instead of $12. Okay. Now Amazon still takes their fee, so there's like a 15% fee involved here, so that's another $4. So I mean, it sort of averages out, but the speed at which you can get that pack out is so much greater with FBM that it's worth your time. Like if you can sell 50 of that 4-pack in a day, you don't need to bother sending that into Amazon. You just buy what's 400 of them. Duh. Buy 400 of them, pre-pack all of them, get 100 boxes, pack 100 boxes, like pre-do it if you know you're selling that many a day. As soon as they sell, you just print 100 labels. It takes you 30 minutes and you just fulfilled 100 orders. Okay, that's how, like when you see people that are doing like 100 orders or 200 orders, it's because they have a couple items. A lot of times they're pre-packing things and they just slap labels on stuff. So there's benefit to both ways. There's some items I would never merchant fulfill. There's some items that usually, like the heavier and larger you get, those items tend to be easier for FBM. Like maybe a 24. So for example, we sold a 24-pack of sweetened condensed milk. Okay, that would be very expensive FBA. It was not very expensive FBM because I could fit those in that same like priority shoebox. So shipping was only like $8, and we sold them for a ton of money. So yeah. All right, let me see. I've got time for just a couple more questions. We've got a ton of great ones in here. I can't get to all of them, but I'll try to pick a couple more good ones. This person was asking if they're brand new, should they wait to FBM instead of FBA? No, there's no reason to wait for either of these things. This is the same like I've seen people ask, oh, I'm brand new, but I know it's Q4 and I know things are crazy. I think I'll just wait until after Q4 when it's calmer. No! Sell it right now! Sell FBM right now. Sell FBA right now. Do everything right now. There's there's no reason to wait. Like the benefit is right now. This right now is the craziest sales. This is the craziest it's going to be. This is the best it's going to be. If you wait, it just gets worse over time. It doesn't get better over time. There's no reason to wait for any of these things. So yeah, do FBA today, do FBM today, figure all that out. This person, what software should a newbie seller get? So this is a larger question, but it's a great question. And we did a YouTube video specifically about this. So if you go over to our YouTube channel, we did 2 separate videos. So one is what, like the 10 most used tools. So tools, I'm talking about like Scotty peelers and a scanner and things like that. Then we have like our top 10 or top 5, or I forget the number of it, subscriptions that we use. So like software, those are 2 different videos. They go over 2 separate things, and I will break down which ones I use, how I order them, like which ones I would get first, which ones I would get last, all of that in the middle. I throw out a couple that I completely would avoid. So like Jungle Scout and Helium 10, don't get those. Those are the wrong tool for the wrong job. You will never find a use for either of those. Yeah. My issue with Kohl's is it's too big. Start with bras. Just go straight to the bras. If you go nowhere else, you'll be getting plenty of profit. No, see, here's the thing. A lot of people are like, oh, your stores must be so great. When I go to small towns, I do so much better than when I am in my own town because there's so many resellers in Orlando. I have never once been, and I've been to a lot of Kohl's. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars at Kohl's. I've never once left Kohl's empty-handed. If you leave Kohl's empty-handed, it's because your Kohl's was bad. It's because something that you're doing, something in your process was bad. Let's see. Oh, thank you. It's so the cutoff dates are actually August 16th to October 14th instead of 15 to 15. All right, good question, Ahmed. How do you set shipping templates to do weight? You can't do distance. Amazon doesn't let you differentiate distance, but you can differentiate based on weight. I have a whole video. Whoops. Let's reset this. There we go. I have a whole video about how to FBM items. And in that video, I break down exactly, like step by step, here's how you create a template and change the template and adjust the template. So head over there and watch that video, Ahmed. Good. This is a nice, easy one. Easier to become ungated in professional versus individual. Officially, from Amazon, the official answer is that individual accounts cannot become ungated in anything ever. Unofficially, it happens all the time. Amazon doesn't know their own rules. With that said, yes, of course, it's a bajillion times easier. Individual accounts, like, you shouldn't really be getting ungated and stuff as an individual. An individual account is just for dipping your toes in. It's not for having a business. If you're trying to get ungated, then I'm going to assume you're trying to have a business, in which case you need to have a professional account. There's no reason to not do that. I am using something, it's called Restream. It's super cool. I am loving it, especially with my new camera setup and everything. I can stream. I'm on Facebook. I'm on my own page. I'm on our business page. I'm in our Facebook group. I'm on YouTube. I'm all over the web. It's awesome. And I can see all the comments in one place. Let's see. Awesome. I'm glad this person just finished the Q4 webinar and loved it. That's great to hear. It's what we want. Like if it was crap, I'd be like, oh man, I shouldn't have tried to do this. Like my name is on it, so it better be really freaking good. And again, so we're going to continue adding to it. So I know you said you just completed it. There's a decent chance, because I added stuff yesterday, there's a decent chance that there's already stuff in there that you didn't see. Good question. For one ASIN, can you do FBA and FBM at the same time? Yes, you are, in fact, allowed to do that. You cannot do multiple listings of the same fulfillment type, but you can do FBA and FBM. And I mean, if you're a more advanced seller, there's something called Seller Fulfilled Prime, which is a third option. There's also Small and Light, which is a fourth option. There's a lot of different ways that you can list something, but for the most part, most people are going to be FBA and FBM. That's okay. Is it normal to see item not found? Yes, very normal. Pass. Move on to the next item. Especially if you are at like a department store, because like shirts go in and out of style within weeks. So stop scanning shirts. Scan the bras if you're at a department store. If you're finding that in, like, let's say you're at Walmart scanning home goods, it's like, well, okay, maybe stop scanning the spoons and start scanning something else. Okay, so that is very common to see item not found. It means it doesn't exist on Amazon. And for a beginner, pass. You want the low-hanging fruit. You want the easy wins at the start. I'm not going to talk about how to create a listing and all of that. It's possible, but that's not for a beginner. You want those easy psychological wins at the beginning. Can you use Inventory Lab with an individual account? No, you cannot. And this, like, yeah, I don't want to call you out here, but I'm going to call you out a little bit. A professional account costs $40 a month. Inventory Lab costs, I think, $40, maybe even $50 a month. If you sell an individual account, you get charged $1 for every sale. So if you sell 40 items on Amazon without a professional account, you have already lost money versus if you just had a professional account and you sold 40 items. If you're not selling 40 items, then you don't belong in Inventory Lab. That's not the tool that you need. Get the right tool for the right job. Inventory Lab is fantastic. Everyone should get it. It's like if you're building a house, you have to buy a hammer. But if you don't have any wood or any nails yet, then don't buy a hammer. Buy the wood and the nails first, if that sort of makes sense. Shipping template with Inventory Lab to list FBM. So that's, I don't actually know that, because when I'm listing FBM, I do that in the seller app while I'm in store. Usually I don't list FBM via Inventory Lab. I'll go back in and I will adjust my prices later on. But yeah, I don't really list FBM with Inventory Lab. So I'm not sure 100% if you can do that, but there should be like a little drop-down menu somewhere. All right. Okay, and the last question, this is a good beginner one to end with, all right? Tamika on Facebook says, what items is better to start selling so that you don't have restrictions? We see this all the time. Books are super easy. Bras are super easy. They're, with the exception of a couple high-end textbooks, there's basically no book that is restricted. If bras, like we talk about bras and Kohl's so much, we built a whole course around like, okay, here's how you make 6 figures just going to Kohl's, because we've sold 6 figures just going to Kohl's and basically just buying bras. It's a great place to start on Amazon because there are so few restrictions in the clothing category. It's a very easy place for a beginner to start. But books is also a great place to learn. You can go to like Goodwill or Salvation Army and go through their books there. Garage sales will have a lot of old books. You can even offer like books you can get for free a lot of times. We had a mentee that we were coaching for a while, and he was doing free book pickup. So he made a Craigslist ad, was like, hey, I'll clean out all your old books from your basement. Just give me a call. I've got a pickup truck. I'll clean them out for free. I won't charge anything. Just let me know. And that's all he put. And he was getting calls all the time like, oh yeah, my grandpa just passed away. He's got shelves and shelves and shelves. We don't know what to do with this stuff. Can you come take it away? Oh yeah, not a problem. I'll be right over. And he would just drive over. Boom. There's like 10,000 books that he just got completely for free. All he had to do was pick them up and put them in his truck. So books are a really fun, easy place to start. They're harder to scale. So especially in the current climate, I don't know very many people who are doing like 6-7 figures doing books. I know, I would maybe 1-2 people that are doing those kinds of numbers with books. So it's harder to scale. But as a beginner, as a place to start, to learn, to get your feet wet, I think books is a fine way. Yeah, books is a fine way. And then you sort of asked a follow-up question. When I'm saying scan, when you have an account on Amazon, you download the Amazon Seller app. And on the app, there's a little picture of like a camera where you scan, and you can scan barcodes, and it will pull up all of the data on Amazon. So check out our other videos. We've got a ton of videos on YouTube. Go through the units. So Tamika, I see you're on Facebook. In our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/hustle buddies, I'll put that back on the screen here for a second for you. in our Facebook group, at the top of the page, there's a little button that says units. If you go through all of the units, it's going to break down all of like easy stuff for beginners and like how to scan stuff and all of those basics. We cover in our units. We cover those on YouTube. We've got a ton of stuff on our YouTube as well. So definitely check those out and dive in. I think back when I was first starting, I binge watched YouTube like 2 weeks straight. Like as soon as I was home, I was watching YouTube. I was watching like 6 hours a day of YouTube Amazon content for like 2 weeks before I started. I was just ingesting. And then at a certain point, you get analysis paralysis. So I knew like, okay, if I don't start now, I'm never going to try it. So at a certain point, you have to just jump in. You have to throw some money at this and see if you can make it work. So we threw $100 at it and it worked for us. So if our business crashes tomorrow and we've built a 7-figure business, if it crashes tomorrow, well, I'm out $100. Like I can still sort of say that to myself. So, all right. That is pretty much all the time we've got. I went a little bit over, but I try to keep these to about an hour for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to our live videos. This was so fun, this new setup, seeing all the comments, having nice video, oh man, I'm geeking out over here, guys. But yeah, thanks for sort of being like my test subjects this first night using all this new fun stuff. And we will see you guys next Sunday. We do this every Sunday, Sunday Night Live. I try to do it about like 7:30-ish after my kids go down. But yeah, we'll see you out there. Don't forget to check out the Q4 course and the Coles course, all that stuff on our website if you haven't yet. If you're interested in more of like our really in-depth, I mean, if you got value from this, it's like, I tell people this all the time with our YouTube. If you think our YouTube is valuable, like that's our free content. And I don't really hold anything back in our free content. Like our paid content just goes insanely deep and breaks things down insanely well for people. So, all right, we will see you out there, guys.